Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Prachadine Nirvisesha Sunjavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In this morning's class, I thought it would be nice to cover the early verses, Adi Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita, starting with text 2, going through text 6. Because these verses are in relation to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the structure of Chaitanya Charitamrita is in these verses, who is Lord Chaitanya, and some of his characteristics are identified, and each of these 5 verses appear later in Chaitanya Charitamrita with some expanded explanation. In other words, this series of verses we're going to hear, that's an outline, like a skeleton. And then later there will be bones and flesh and blood, and the body of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be further expanded. So I wanted to just read the verses, Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 2 through 6, and then where those verses appear later in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll also go there. So rather than reading the verse in the Bengali or the Sanskrit, I'm going to just go to the translation for text 2, etc. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and the moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Gauda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. Now this is a nice metaphor of the sun and the moon. And the moon is a surface that reflects the light of the sun, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being the sun, Nityananda Prabhu being the moon, and very soothing and cooling moon-like rays of Lord Nityananda, together with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, are dissipating the darkness of ignorance and thus bestowing wonderfully benediction upon all. Now, we all know that the sun and the moon don't arise simultaneously, but it's a metaphor. So it's to help us understand, as if the sun and the moon arose simultaneously. So in this case, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, they arose simultaneously. A detail is Lord Nityananda appeared 12 years before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. 12 years. But it's pretty close to simultaneously. But what they did was they dissipated 2 things. Dissipated darkness of ignorance, and the second is they bestowed benediction. Now what that benediction is, we'll hear as we go forward. And now we're going to go to text 3, Adi 1, text 3. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, with full with six opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. This is a redefinition of Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutra or the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is, the absolute truth is the highest, and there's no one higher, and there's no one equal to. That's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and that is to say, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. Text 4. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendentally situated in the innermost chambers of your heart, because it's already in the heart, or he is already in the heart of Krishna Das Kaviraj. So it's a Benedictine verse. Now it's describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's form. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. So he has the duty or the luster of Radha, the radiance of molten gold, not only the color or complexion, but radiance of molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Now, later in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's descriptions of three reasons: internal and external reasons. The verse here says, he appeared because of his causeless mercy. So causeless mercy doesn't need this prompt, that prompt, and the other prompt, and then he appeared. There's external and there's internal, but it's, in one sense, it's all internal. That is to say, the feature of his mercy. All the internal, external are subsets of his causeless mercy. I think this would be a good place to quickly mention, during our class yesterday at the temple, there was a discussion about the three internal, three external reasons. One of the the first of the external reasons that's identified it was the loud calling of Advaita Acharya for the personality of Godhead to descend, the Supreme Person to set straight that bad qualities, the darkness of ignorance qualities of this age of Kali. He appealed very fervently and loudly calling by worshipping his Shalagram Shila, offering tulsi leaves and palmfuls of Ganges water, according to the indication of scripture. He was doing this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu responded as an external reason, the loud calling of Advaita Acharya for his appearance. Second external reason, in the early part of each age, commonly there is a means of elevation for that particularly suitable for that particular age. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish the Yuga Dharma, the primary means of deliverance for this age of Kali. But that was the second reason. It was the time to do that second activity, an external reason. Although it's really is his causeless mercy. And the third reason is this one. He came to give something that no other incarnation ever offered before. Mellow of devotional service, specifically the mellow of conjugal love. Now, if you think about it a little bit, the teachings of bhakti, of mellow of pure devotional service, is taught by all of the Vaishnava acharyas. The teaching about the mellow of the conjugal love of Krishna for not only the queens in Dwarka, but the young gopis in Vrindavan, and he came to offer that to the world. We'll hear more as we go further. And text 5. This is that celebrated Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir verse. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestation of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, previously or eternally, they separated themselves. Now, these two transcendental identities have again united, because there's actually one entity, ekatmana, one entity manifest eternally as two, now again manifest as one, united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him, was manifested himself with the sentiment or the bhava of Radha and the complexion of Radha, although he is Krishna himself. We discussed this yesterday, but no harm to hear it again and hundreds of times again and again. The source of everything is eternally manifest in two forms. One entity, the source of everything. Eka Atma, one entity, eternally manifest in two forms, as Shakti and Shaktiman, Radharani and Krishna, eternally manifest in two forms, but one entity. And that one entity appeared in Kali Yuga in one form, Krishna himself, in the luster and the mood, or the sentiment and the complexion of Radha, although he is Krishna himself. Very important verse, expanded at length in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and text number 6. Desiring to understand, this is the internal reason. 3. Desiring to understand the glory of Radha's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appears from the ocean. Now, in the previous metaphor, he's the sun, and in this metaphor, he's the moon appearing from the ocean. And specifically, the sun is the source of radiant light, and the moon is a reflection of that radiant light. And therefore, the light of the sun can be sometimes scorching hot, and the light of the moon is always soothing and cool. But he's compared in this case to the moon, time of his appearance. Now I'm going to go to another reference, Adi Lila, chapter 1, verse 84. Adi Lila, chapter 1, verse 84, where this very same verse is presented. Very same verse, no change. And the translation is presented, same, no change. And the two verses, 85, 86, that follow state, Sri Krishna and Balaram, the personalities of Godhead, who formerly appeared in Vrindavan and were millions of times more effulgent than the sun and moon, have risen over the eastern horizon of Gaudadesh, West Bengal, being compassionate for the fallen state of the world. That they're Yuga avatars who are compassionate because of the fallen state of the world, and they're going to do something about the fallen state of the world. 87. The appearance of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Prabhu Nityananda has surcharged the world with happiness. There's one of the words used for a name of the Lord who surcharges the world with happiness, and even more, surcharges, floods the world with love of Godhead, is Vishwambar. One of the names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Vishwambar, which means it's described in Chaitanya Charitamrita specifically, that he inundates the world, he floods the world with love of God. So extinguishing the fire of material existence in the age of Kali, but expanding the experience of love of God to benefit everyone. Next two texts, 88, 89. As the sun and moon drive away darkness by their appearance and reveal the nature of everything, these two brothers dissipate the darkness of ignorance, covering the living beings, and enlighten them with knowledge of the absolute truth. Again, saying that the dissipating, the covering, and awaking original consciousness, same that we say about the chanting of the holy name. And so it's the process, Yuga Dharma process, that they gave, and they exhibited it, and they helped people do these two things: overcome ignorance and become lifted, enlightened with the knowledge of the absolute truth. Text 90. The darkness of ignorance is called kaitava, way of cheating, which begins with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. Interesting, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, which is the primary goal of many who are careful followers of the Vedas. It's called the cheating process. Why is it called the cheating process? Because it may not, in and of itself, without the awakening of Krishna Bhakti, it may give any one of these four or combination. Close the door because of the heat. It may give, the following of the Vedas may give any one of these four or all of them combination, but it's called kaitava because without the real purpose behind the whole of Vedic life, the real purpose of the whole of Vedic life is missed. So it's not that the Vedas and the teachings of the Vedas are cheating, but if the objective of one approaching the Vedas is any one of these four or combination, then they become cheated. And the last verse in this series, text 91, it's going to make a comparison between what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did and came to give to the Srimad Bhagavatam. where the verse reads, "The great scripture Srimad Bhagavatam, compiled by Mahamuni Vyasa from 4 original verses, describes the most elevated and kind-hearted devotees and completely rejects the cheating ways of materially motivated religiosity." Saying materially motivated religiosity. It propounds the highest principle of eternal religion, Sanatana Dharma, which can factually mitigate the threefold miseries of a living being and award the highest benediction of full prosperity and knowledge. Those willing to hear the message of the scriptures in a submissive attitude of service can at once capture the Supreme Lord in their hearts. Therefore, there is no need for any scripture other than Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll spend a little bit of time on this extensive purport. It's several pages long. This is a verse, Bhagavatam 112, where the verse is saying Mahamuni Krite, that Mahamuni is Vyasa, and Krite, he compiled this literature, Srimad Bhagavatam. The Vyasadeva, who is sometimes known as Narayana Mahamuni, because he is an incarnation of Narayana, Vyasadeva, therefore, is not an ordinary man, but is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He compiled the beautiful Bhagavatam to narrate some of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. Now, you may be interested to know, according to our Vaishnava Acharyas, Vyasadeva appeared within Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates. A manifestation of Vyasadeva, according to the Gaudiya Acharyas, Gauraguna Deshnapika, was Vrindavan Thakur. Vrindavan Thakur compiled a full biography of most of the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not everything, because as Krishnadas Kaviraj says, everything is not possible, because the Lord is unlimited and everything is unlimited. But he compiled essential teachings up to his life in Puri, because his primary base of his experience and his writing, etc., was in Navadvip. He was a resident of Navadvip, and obviously a great devotee of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself. Vrindavan Das was Vyasadeva writing about Krishna, or writing about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishna Das Kaviraj writes that he very carefully avoided repeating what Vrindavan Das had already written, but he included some sections which he may not have given emphasis to, and then other portions of Mahaprabhu's pastimes that came later, and Vrindavan Das Thakur didn't touch. So these two, Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita, are very important literatures, especially for followers of Lord Chaitanya, which we are. And going into the future, in this course of this next month, I'm encouraging, read Chaitanya Charitamrita, read Chaitanya Bhagavat. Prabhupada didn't make a commentary on Chaitanya Bhagavat because it was already made by his spiritual master in Bengali. And he could have gone through the Bengali commentary and made an anglicized version, but anyways, that's not what he did. And those two literatures are very helpful for understanding more deeply who is Lord Chaitanya, and becoming attracted and absorbed in and attached to. So let's read a little bit from the purport of this verse. Second paragraph. In Srimad Bhagavatam, a distinction between real religion and pretentious religion has been clearly made. According to this original and genuine commentation on Vedanta Sutra, there are numerous pretentious faiths that pass as religion, but neglect the real essence of religion. The real religion of the living being is this natural inborn quality, whereas pretentious religion is a form of nescience that artificially covers a living entity's pure consciousness under certain unfavorable conditions. Real religion lies dormant when artificial religion dominates from the mental platform. A living being can awaken this dormant religion by hearing with a pure heart. No obstacle, we don't have pure hearts yet. So what do? We go on hearing. The paragraph is giving a very clear indication both how to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and how to appreciate Srimad Bhagavatam itself, how to Lord Chaitanya himself. And the distinction, because sometimes you make this distinction, and we're asked, Prabhupada was sometimes asked, what about Christianity? And what about Islam and other forms? Then Prabhupada would sometimes give the answer, the essential truths are there in these religious teachings, one should follow without fail. However, the following without fail is a little difficult. For example, if you don't know clearly what the goal is, if you have a vague idea what the goal is, okay, the goal is love God with all your heart, mind, and strength. That's a nice teaching. Very good. Very good teaching. Now, please tell me what you know about God, who we're supposed to give our heart to, our body to, and our words to. And many times Prabhupada would say, we may all have our experiences. When you ask that question, please tell me what your conception of God is. It's not the same as the Bhagavad, Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a personal conception within both Islam and the Bible that God is a person. Okay, person, what are his features? What does he look like? What are his activities? What's his abode? Etc., 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 etc. What does he do? You don't get a clear answer. So it's a little difficult to fulfill the valid instruction. The instruction is not problematic. It's just the teaching is not yet complete. And therefore, as Prabhupada is writing, that religion that is dominated by the mental plane, in my mind, I can accept the conception that this is good. Let me live my life where I give my body, mind, and words to God. But it's notional without clarity. No harm. But it's incomplete. And therefore, the complete form is made available through Srimad Bhagavatam. And the teachings of Lord Chaitanya are not different than the teachings of the Bhagavatam. And that's important understanding. One more paragraph. The path of religion prescribed by Srimad Bhagavatam is different from all forms of imperfect religiosity. Religion can be considered in the following three divisions: fruitive work, path of knowledge, mystic powers, and the path of worship and devotional service. So karma, Gyan, and mysticism, or Dhyan, and worship and devotional service, Upasana. So he goes through. I'm not going to read all that section. So these same verses are described again later in the next section of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Let's go there. It's Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text 2. The very same verse that was Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 2, is found in Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text 2. Very exact same verse. And the verses that follow, this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writing, because he received the blessing of Madan Mohan. He went to the temple of Madan Mohan seeking his blessings, and the deity provided him with a garland. The garland slipped from the deity's neck and encircled the author, Krishnadas Kaviraj. So here he's offering his regards to Madan Mohan. Glory to the all-merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my directors, and their lotus feet are everything to me. Then next, Madan Mohan, Radha Govinda, in a temple of jewels in Vrindavan, underneath a desire tree, Sri Radha Govinda, served by their most confidential associates, sit upon an effulgent throne. I offer my obeisances unto them, and then comes Gopinath. May Gopinath, who attracts all the gopis with the song of his flute, and who has begun the most melodious rasa dance on the bank of the Jamuna in Vangshivat, be merciful upon us. So this is very specific, that Gopinath means the Lord of the Gopis. Natha means Lord. Please close the door because of the heat. Thank you very much. Gopinath means the Lord of the Gopis. So this is the conjugal love that the previous verse we read, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the third reason for his appearing was to give. So reference is here being made, kind of like amplifying and expanding that earlier message. Gopinath attracts all the gopis with the song of his flute, and who has begun the most melodious rasa dance on the bank of the Jamuna in Vangshivat. So many of you may have been to Vangshivat. It is in Vrindavan, and it's by the bank of the river Jamuna. In fact, it is said that the Gopinath deity that was installed by Vajranam, the great-grandson of Krishna, in Vrindavan, was lost. And one day it was found because it had been under the sea, under the Jamuna River in the earth. And they excavated and found the Gopinath deity. And that's where he did what is being described in this verse. At Vangshivat, on the bank of the Jamuna, he called the gopis with his Vangsi, his transcendental flute, to engage them with him in rasa dance. Now moving, text 6, it's reading from Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text 6. All glories unto Sri Gaurahari, who is an ocean of mercy. All glories unto you, the son of Sachi Devi, for you are the only friend of all souls. Then he goes on with the Panchatattva. All glories unto Lord Nityananda and Advaita Prabhu, and all glories unto all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya headed by Srivas. And he goes on describing who is Vrindavan Das, etc., etc. So we're covering these early verses in Chaitanya Charitamrita because they give a very simple outline of the body of the Chaitanya Charitamrita text itself, a little bit of the messages that it covers, and now a little bit about appreciation and glorification of the author. The author, Krishnadas Kaviraj, at the time he was writing Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was very, very elderly. And how he knew what he knew was on several grounds. One of those grounds was he's very scholarly. That's the name Kaviraj. Kavi Raj, the king of poets. So his writing was very elegant. I don't understand Bengali, but I know those that do understand Bengali, and they say it's almost like Sanskrit. His Bengali is almost like Sanskrit, so I just take their word for it. It's not. If you know Sanskrit, you can translate his writing. If you don't know Sanskrit and you only know Bengali, you may have difficulty. I've had devotees that are Bengali speaking from by birth. It's a little difficult to give translation because it's very high. Very scholarly, Vaishnav. And historically, when Raghunath Das Goswami didn't want to maintain his life after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left because he was in his constant association and Lord Chaitanya left. It's described that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world entering into the body of the deity of Gopinath in Puri. He would hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day from Gadadhar Pandit, and one day, right in the middle of the Bhagavatam class, he got up and went for the altar and entered into the body of the deity and disappeared. And how do you have last right when somebody enters into the body of the deity? The whole of Puri was devastated. Raghunath Das, who saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his life and soul, didn't want to continue with his life. So he made a decision. 3 things. He'll go to Vrindavan, take the association of Rupa and Sanatan, go to Govardhan Hill, which he had profound affinity for, and jump off Govardhan Hill and give up his life. Suicide. That was his plan. But when he got to Vrindavan, when Raghunath Das got to Vrindavan, his mood was transcendently apparent to Rupa Goswami. Said, "You can't do that. You've been with Lord Chaitanya day and night and day and night and day and night for years together, and we've been in separation from him. You have direct experience of his pastimes and his mood, plus Swarup Damodar, being under his care, he explained everything to you about his mood and his heart, and he knew all those things, and you know all those things because you heard from Swarup Damodar. You're going to give up your life? No way. This is our instruction, Rupa Goswami's instruction to Raghunath Das, which he accepted, fortunately for us. You stay here. You love Vrindavan. You love Govardhan Hill. You love Srimati Radharani. You make your home, your residence at Radhakund. And here underneath this tree, you recite the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every day, for the benefit of the Vaishnavas, every day for several hours. And so under their order, that's what he did. And one of the persons who heard from Raghunath Das Goswami every day was Krishna Das. So Krishna Das, having the credential that we described, and in addition, hearing from Raghunath Das Goswami every day for several hours. He didn't have a recording device. He just had a heart that was open to receive. And obviously he had a good memory because he wrote things that he heard from Raghunath Das about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's identity and his pastimes and everything that Raghunath had heard from Sri Damodar, and Sri Damodar had the realization directly imparted to him from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's disciplic succession method. And after some time, the Vaishnavas who were hearing from Krishna Das, they requested him, this knowledge is going to be lost. Can you please write all of this knowledge? Can you compile one literature that for posterity preserves everything that you learned from Raghunath Das and you've been teaching to us? And he was feeling unqualified, as the Vaishnava is naturally humble, but they were insisting. And so what he did was he went to all the senior Vaishnavas and appealed to them, should I please give your blessings if you want me to do this? So the answer was yes, and got their blessings. And then he went to the Madan Mohan deity seeking Madan Mohan's blessings, and the garland fell, and that was a very celebrated event. He then commenced compiling Chaitanya Charitamrita, and a brilliant and elaborate description of Lord Chaitanya, his life and teachings. And it's been retold in so many different ways. One of those ways was teachings of Lord Chaitanya. I remember very clearly, 1970. We understood Prabhupada wanted to complete the translation of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, and he took a break from the translations of the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam to give us teachings of Lord Chaitanya very early, 1970, because he wanted us to also have the life and the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So mainly it's the teachings. Mainly there are 5 sections, and they're each of the 5 main shiksha sections of Chaitanya Charitamrita. His instructions to Rupa, his instructions to Sanatan, his instructions to Prakashananda Saraswati, his instructions to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and to Ramananda Roy. So very significant is the teachings, because that gives us illumination in the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, like Bhagavatam purports in the form of instructions to these 5 personalities. And those 5 personalities, they're obviously in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are very important sections of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And last, because Gaur Purnima is coming, although it's very elevated literature, because Gaur Purnima is coming, I'm going to be jumping up and down for a while and encouraging the devotees to read Chaitanya Charitamrita on a regular basis, if daily if possible, and read on your own, or read with another person, or a small reading group, or somehow. It's all available online, database.com, and so forth. And they're printed versions of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Some of us like having a book in our hand and having the Chaitanya Charitamrita resting in our hand as we're hearing this message. But however, here Chaitanya Charitamrita for this the rest of this upcoming month, and understand more and more and more about the person who we're doing things for. It's like the distinction between love God with all your heart and all your mind and all your strength, and you're kind of got a blank about who's God. So similarly, this is the Yuga Dharma, the chanting. So chant, but unto whose command are we following? Who is he? But so the more you personalize that for whom, bhakti becomes stronger, because the supreme all-attractive person is indeed all-attractive. All-attractive, all-merciful, all-knowing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I think it will benefit each of us and collectively the devotee community to become more in tune with the message of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And even if we don't understand everything, that's okay. Purification is going on anyway, just by hearing. So that's my discussion this morning. Krishna Krishna. And I think I'm going to go away from stop share and see if there are persons who would like to raise some question. We have some online people and we have some people in the room. Here's a little video. Krishna Krishna. Any discussion? If you're the online people, you can raise your hand. There's a little method of doing that in the room. Any topics you'd like to discuss, please do that. There's Snehavali. You can unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances and glories to Prabhupada.
Pretty early for you over there.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, not that early. It's 6:20 now. So, Guru Maharaj, you mentioned we were reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and one of the verse was like, this is Ketava Dharma, cheating propensity for, the four Purusharthas,
Yes.
Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha.
Yeah.
So I was remembering that Mahaprabhu always say that there is a fifth one. After the fourth one, there is a
Yes.
fifth one, Premartho Mahan.
Yes.
So, but then it is in line with that. It is not saying that leave that four Purusharthas and then just come to Prema Pumartho Mahan.
Correct.
And here we are saying that these four are the cheating, but fifth one is still valid.
But the cheating is because those who are focused on those four are not even aware of what five is. And they're not pursuing number five, they're pursuing I want, or I want. Fulfillment of something on the personal side. And prema, puma artha, mahan, is that I want is over. The sarchati, the kangsati. That's the bhakti platform. That's not just the Purushartha platform. And the mature stage of the Purushartha, of the bhakti platform, at that. So that's why cheating, kind of a dharma.
But it is still after the four of these Purusharthas, then it is that one.
There's subsets.
Okay.
Supposing you don't have the five, the fifth. Supposing you have the four, and don't have an idea of the fifth, or not on the path to get you there, then it's kaitava. Kaitava in the sense that one is not experiencing. It's the similar message in the first canto Bhagavatam. If one follows all the regulations but doesn't come to Vishvaksena Kataruchi Shyamaha Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtha Nishevana. It's a platform where the goal is being missed. The goal is being missed because I'm not even thinking or properly understanding what the goal is. So it's a mental platform exercise, and thus kaitava. It doesn't go directly to the spiritual platform. And even you take, the fourth one, moksha.
Yeah.
It's still
So,
on the material. That's the idea of liberation is negation. Not this, not this, not the cycle of birth and death finished. Not this. So, but then the awakening of it's kaitava because that fifth is just not on the radar screen. Now, go ahead, say it again. You want to ask the same question again?
no, thank you. I only want to say then that liberation is even impersonal, or that
Yes,
is like
yes,
nirvana for the Buddhist.
yes, yes, yes. It's the definition by negation, which isn't the positive. That's therefore cheating.
Okay. Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you.
Krishna Mohini. Wow.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Hi, Krishna.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj. It was so nice to hear the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and it was just wanted to thank so much that after a long time I could hear Chaitanya Charitamrita, and uh, you are inspiring us, and it's an instruction from you that we read Chaitanya Charitamrita till the upcoming day of Chaitanya,
Yeah.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day.
You
So
can have a goal to read the whole thing, or you can have a goal that you read a small amount, but read a small amount regularly, and whatever the small amount is done regularly, something's going to happen. The something is your thoughts in anticipation of the appearance day of Mahaprabhu are going to go more to the merciful nature and personality and his features, his associates. All of that will happen just by something that's done meaningfully and regularly and devotionally. If you read the whole thing, great. If you read some part of it, great. Now, go
yes,
ahead.
Guru Maharaj. But what would be because Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very vast book,
Yes.
and what would be your um, instruction that we focus on certain part of the section of Chaitanya Charitamrita to finish before Gaur Purnima?
My favorite answer to a question like this is it depends. So you have been living a life of devotion to Krishna for so long, and you probably know the answer yourself. That is to say, would you like to read those sections that are strong in philosophy? Would you like to read the sections that are about his appearance? Would you like to read the sections that are about his loving exchanges with his devotees in different venues like Navadvip or Puri or his visit to Vrindavan? So I recommend for you step back, maybe even make a list in your mind or make a list on paper, and here are some sections. What are the sections that I feel this time around would particularly inspire me? And then select from that menu. You select some options for yourself.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
And whoever the person is if there is a person you plan to read with, which is nice, then decide together. And if you're just going to take some time on your own because of the circumstance, then
Yes, sir.
you look in the mirror and hold your heart out and what inspires you. Because I know that you know the sections. So that's what I would recommend for you.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay?
Thank you so much, Guru. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody in the room? Yes.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. In previous lecture, you mentioned Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi 1.6. 3 internal reasons for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance.
Yes, I
So
mentioned.
I know experience of Radha love, which I noted from the lecture. I wanted to know what that.
It's right there. Should I read it again?
Yes.
I'll just say it. Aside from the verbatim reference, the background, you heard the background. The background is the omniscient Krishna, after his pastimes in Vrindavan, Dwapara Yuga is over, Kali Yuga is getting underway, and Krishna is contemplating. What is that love that Radha feels for me? What is the happiness that she feels in that love that she has for me? What are the qualities in me that inspire her loving feelings? How does she see me? I want to know that. The problem, although I'm omniscient, is the subject-object detail. I have to become the subject, as Radharani is the subject, regarding the object. So I'm Krishna himself, but I have to take the position of Radha to understand these 3 things. The love, the happiness, and the qualities of Krishna that inspire that love. Is that what you wanted?
Yes.
Okay. Taruni Radha, go ahead. Different person.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Our acharyas are manjaris in the spiritual world. So how can we who belong to
How
this
can you do what? How can you do what?
so how can we who belong to this disciplic succession even have the capacity to receive what Mahaprabhu is giving, that's Gopi's love for Krishna? Please could explain.
You become a follower of those persons and it's yours. That's the principle. If you want to know more of the detail, you take a look at, there's many places, but one of the places that's really simple and concise is Manashiksha, text number 7. In Manashiksha, text number 7, Raghunath Das, who is one of them, gives an instruction, shiksha, to his mind, how to get to the position that you're asking about. And who's eligible? Anyone's eligible. Are you eligible? You're eligible. And what's the process? Raghunath Das is giving it. Read it and follow it. It's a lifelong work, but it's a nice, worthwhile, lifelong work. More?
Yeah, the place where I get really stuck is our acharyas were manjaris only. So I feel like we have the capacity to only receive the manjaris' love that they have for the Lord, right?
But
So
you become like them. It's by association. You become like them. Your eligibility is according to the starting point is service, and then with whom as a servant you associate. And you associate with those who have that mood, and that becomes your mood. Now, let me ask you, is there a limit to how many Mandri assistants can serve Krishna eternally in the spiritual realm? Answer, no limit. How many are currently there? Too many to count. And can more fit? No problem. Lots of room.
Yeah, that's what Guru Maharaj. So it's like more of the Manjri bhav, right? But then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to give gopis bhav, right?
But
So
that's,
then,
it's just interchangeable. The
oh,
terminology is interchangeable. Gopi, in one sense, means certain members of the elders amongst the gopis, but it also means the mood of Madhurya Rasa, Madhurya Bhava.
okay, okay.
That's what it means.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Okay. I see something in the chat box. What's in the chat box? I don't know how to use this. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay, it's this. Okay, I got it. Anyone in the room? We're good to go. So those of you that are listening, I during this morning chanting japa, an idea came, and I tried to not spend too much time with an idea other than chanting, but an idea came of how to encourage distribution of Chaitanya Charitamrita and reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita during this coming month. So I have an idea, and you'll stay tuned to hear more about it. But encourage people that you know. Encourage people you don't know. Encourage, existing and encourage new people to receive Chaitanya Charitamrita either online or printed and become absorbed in it. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Jai.